Welcome, seekers of the unknown, to a new episode of Enigmas and Mysteries. Today, we venture deep into the shadows to uncover 5 of the most terrifying vampires in history. Beings that, according to ancient legends, walked among the living, thirsty for blood, and shrouded in an aura of terror. Their stories are filled with fear, uncertainty, and a darkness that has lingered for centuries. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe for more spine-chilling stories, because what you hear today might just keep you up at night. Are you ready? Then turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and join us on this journey into the unknown. We are about to travel through time, from the dark forests of Eastern Europe to the shadowy cemeteries of London. Every story is a whisper from the past, a tale of fear that has survived the ages. Let's begin. Our first stop takes us to 15th century Europe, to the misty and perilous lands of Wallachia, in present-day Romania. Here ruled a man whose name still echoes with a sinister tone, Vlad Tepes, better known as Vlad the Impaler. He was a ruler who used fear as his greatest weapon, instilling dread in the hearts of both enemies and subjects. His reputation was so fierce that even his own people would tremble at the mere mention of his name. It is said that Vlad impaled thousands of his enemies, leaving their bodies to bleed out on stakes that surrounded his castle like a forest of death. The sight of these impaled corpses was meant to serve as a warning to anyone who dared challenge his rule. But what ties him to the vampire myth? Legends tell that Vlad was fascinated by the sight of blood, and some stories even suggest that he would dip bread into the blood of his enemies, consuming it as a twisted form of ritual. As night fell, villagers would claim to see a shadowy figure moving through the forests, with glowing red eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. Some whispered that Vlad had made a pact with dark forces, allowing him to transcend death itself, returning each night as a creature that thirsted for human blood. The local folklore said that those who committed such horrific acts could not find peace in the afterlife. When Vlad finally met his end in battle, rumors spread through the villages. They spoke of a figure that could transform into mist, slipping into homes unnoticed, draining the life from those who dared defy him. Was Vlad truly a vampire, or merely a man whose legend outgrew him, transforming him into a symbol of terror? Now, we journey to the ancient, mountainous lands of Hungary in the 16th century, where we encounter the infamous figure of Erzsébet Báthory, better known as the Blood Countess. This Hungarian aristocrat, born into immense power and privilege, has gone down in history as one of the most prolific serial killers. But her legend is even darker than mere madness. Erzsébet lived in a time when superstition and fear of the supernatural ran deep in the veins of society. According to tales that have survived the centuries, Báthory lured young maidens to her castle, promising them work and safety. But once they entered the castle walls, they would never be seen again. In the darkness of her dungeons, Báthory would subject her victims to unspeakable tortures. It is said that she believed the blood of these young women could preserve her beauty and youth, leading her to bathe in their blood in a desperate attempt to hold on to her fading beauty. Witnesses claim to have seen the Countess, pale and ageless, emerging from her chamber, her skin stained crimson. But the darkness surrounding her was more than just superstition. Some villagers claimed that they saw her wandering the woods at night, her mouth stained with blood, eyes glowing like embers. It was whispered that in her moments of solitude, she would transform, her features twisting into those of a beast, with fangs sharp enough to tear through flesh. She became more than human. She became a creature that thrived on fear and blood. Her castle, now in ruins, is believed to be cursed, with the echoes of her victims' cries still lingering in the night air. Those who visit swear they can feel a chill, as if a ghostly presence still watches from the shadows, hungry for the life it once drained. Next, we travel to the Istrian Peninsula in present-day Croatia, where the story of Jure Grando unfolds. Considered by many as the first documented vampire in recorded history, his tale dates back to the 17th century, a time when fear of the undead gripped entire villages. Jure Grando lived a simple life as a farmer. but his death marked the beginning of a nightmare for his village. According to records, he died of natural causes, but soon after his burial, strange events began to unfold. Villagers reported hearing strange noises outside their windows at night, whispers in the darkness, and shadows that seemed to move on their own. Some claimed to have seen his spectral figure wandering through the village, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. But the most chilling accounts describe Jure as a being that could shift between forms, appearing as a shadow at times and at others, as a decaying corpse with blood dripping from his mouth. When the villagers exhumed his body, they found it shockingly well preserved, with a wicked smile on his face, as if mocking them from beyond the grave. They drove a stake through his heart, but as the wood pierced his flesh, some witnesses claimed they heard a low growl, like that of a beast in agony. The villagers believed this was the only way to put his restless spirit to rest, to end the curse that had plagued their nights. Now we cross the ocean to the cold, unforgiving lands of New England in the 19th century. In a small, tight-knit town in Rhode Island, the Brown family became the center of a terror that blended superstition with tragedy. The harsh winters and the spread of tuberculosis, known as consumption, cast a shadow over many families, but none were as infamous as the Browns. When young Mercy Brown succumbed to the disease, the townspeople began to suspect that something darker was at play. Her mother and sister had already died, and now her brother Edwin was wasting away, seemingly drained of life. Desperate to save him, the villagers turned to an old, chilling belief that the dead were rising from their graves to prey on the living. In a grim ceremony, they exhumed Mercy's body and found it unnervingly well preserved, despite the cold months that had passed since her burial. As they cut open her chest to remove her heart, witnesses claimed that they saw her eyes flutter open for a moment, a final sign that her spirit had not truly left this world. They burned her heart and mixed the ashes into a potion that Edwin drank, hoping it would break the curse. But even after her remains were reduced to ashes, sightings of a shadowy figure continued to plague the town. Some believed that Mercy's spirit had transformed into something else, a being that roamed the snowy woods, searching for the warmth of life that she had lost. Was this hysteria, or had Mercy Brown truly become a creature of the night? Our final story takes us to the bustling city of London, to the overgrown, eerie grounds of the Highgate Cemetery in the 1970s. This ancient graveyard, with its crumbling tombstones and ivy-covered crypts, became the setting for one of the most mysterious vampire stories of the modern era. It all began with sightings of a tall, dark figure, gliding silently among the graves. Witnesses spoke of an overwhelming sense of dread that filled the air whenever the figure appeared. Some claimed that they had seen it transform, from a shadow into a pale, gaunt man with eyes that burned like embers, his mouth twisting into a sinister smile that revealed long, sharp fangs. Paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers flocked to the cemetery, convinced they were facing a creature of the night. They spoke of a dark presence that could shift forms at will, slipping through the mist like a shadow and then appearing in the flesh, pale and gaunt. Some witnesses described encounters where the figure's eyes seemed to burn with a hunger that no mortal could satisfy, its long, sharp fangs gleaming in the moonlight as it stalked the gravestones. Despite numerous efforts to track down the Highgate Vampire, authorities never found concrete evidence of its existence. Yet, the stories persisted, and those who dared to explore the cemetery at night reported hearing a low, menacing hiss from the shadows like a predator lying in wait. Many swore they saw the vampire vanish before their eyes, dissolving into a swirling mist that faded into the shadows of the tombstones. The Highgate Vampire legend remains one of the most compelling tales of modern vampirism, a reminder that even in our contemporary world, the allure and fear of these creatures remain strong. For some, the Highgate Cemetery is still a place of danger, where ancient nightmares lurk just beyond the edge of reason. And so we've traveled through history, exploring the stories of 5 of the most terrifying vampires known to humanity. From the dark castles of Eastern Europe to the haunted lands of New England and the shadowy cemeteries of London. Their tales reveal that the fear of the unknown, is a thread that runs through cultures and across centuries. Each of these figures has left behind a trail of fear and mystery, a shadow that stretches across time. Whether they were real vampires or merely the product of fearful minds, their stories have become immortal, just like the creatures they are said to have become. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and click the notification bell so you never miss any of our chilling stories. The darkness holds many secrets, and here at Enigmas and Mysteries, we are determined to uncover them all. And remember, always question and seek deeper understanding.